What if I told you guys that I've found a singular build that dominates in both PvP and PvE? Yes, this is the build to run if you never want to switch between any activity ever again in Destiny. In PvP we have Cure ×2, Kill Clip, Radiant, and Restoration all at the same time, which lets you go on some absolutely ridiculous streaks. And then in PvE we have all of the above, and we can chain Radiant and Restoration infinitely. We have constant ignitions, and our ability cooldowns become next to nothing. Dim link for the build will be in my Discord, link for which will be in the comments or description below. The newly reprised Summoner is absolutely a weapon that both PvP and PvE fanatics should be chasing, and there are tons of fantastic roles for both. But there's one role I wanted to focus on for the purposes of the build today, and that's Heal Clip, Kill Clip. Heal Clip with the most recent update got a massive buff and went from giving Cure ×1, which is just 60 HP of healing, to Cure ×2, which is a whopping 120 HP on a reload. That's more than 50% of your health in the new sandbox. Heal Clip not only provides a benefit for yourself, but it also provides a benefit for your teammates and provides a Cure ×1 heal to them within a 10-meter radius, which is a nice little bump to keep them alive as well. And then we have Kill Clip, which provides a wonderful 25% extra damage after reloading on a kill. Why I prefer Kill Clip to something like Onslaught is that after most PvP duels, you most likely do want to benefit from Heal Clip as well, and so you need to reload. And by the time you reload, you've probably lost most of the benefit from Onslaught. The synergy and timing just isn't there with that perk. Granted, this is more important in PvP where you want Heal Clip more often than PvE, where Onslaught probably is more useful as you can keep that ×3 buff up far easier. But we're looking for that one role to fit all scenarios, and Heal Clip, Kill Clip fits the mold perfectly here. Kill Clip in PvP drops the TTK from 0.8 seconds to just 0.6 seconds. So not only are you going to be healed after a kill, but you're also going to melt your opponents. Now the exotic we pair with this is the Titan Helmet Precious Scars. Precious Scars gives you a Restoration ×1 buff for 3 seconds after scoring a kill, with a weapon that matches your subclass element. So if you match the Summoner with the Solar Titan subclass, you start getting the benefit here. So after that nice Cure ×2 heal, you also start regenerating your health as well, which means you can be back up to full health after each engagement. With Ember of Empyrean, we can extend this restoration timer with ease and go up to a whopping 16 seconds in PvE especially. We also utilize Ember of Benevolence, which grants us a whopping 400% increase ability regeneration, both inside PvP and PvE, whenever we apply Cure, Restoration, or Radiant to ourselves. And if you guys didn't already realize, we're constantly doing this in both PvE and PvP, so all your abilities are going to come back super fast. Now I know what you're thinking, Solar Titan, especially in PvP. Well, Solar Titan is actually very underrated, and the super is an amazing counter to bubbles and wells. And in general, the tracking on it is actually pretty insane, so don't sleep on the super. And the damage output it provides in PvE is also nothing to scoff at. The great thing about this build is that it beautifully synergizes with the artifact this season. With Flint Striker, we can easily get Radiant by just scoring precision hits with our Summoner, and Radiant is a whopping 25% damage buff in PvE. In PvP, it's just a 10% buff, but this is enough to make Summoner more deadly and more forgiving at all levels. With just Radiant, the Summoner's optimal TTK actually drops from 0.8 seconds to 0.7 seconds, and with Kill Clip on top, Radiant makes that 0.6 second TTK more forgiving, requiring one less headshot. Rays of Precision allows your Summoner to create constant ignitions in PvE, which is amazing for ad clear and extra damage. And we also have Kindling Trigger, which applies Scorch to our targets when we are Radiant, which is important because it synergizes with our aspect Soul Invictus, which when we defeat Scorch targets allows us to create sunspots all over the battlefield for further damage, further ability regeneration, and further healing. Sunspots this season are also going to apply Weaken to stronger enemies because of the artifact perk Revitalizing Blast. Honestly, the synergy here for both PvP and PvE is just off the charts. So now we understand how the build works, let's go over it in more detail and fill in the missing pieces. So as I mentioned, for the super we're running Burning Maul. I run Towering Barricade because it's super helpful to get revives with in PvP, Catapult Lift, Hammer Strike, which is a great movement tool, and if you ever end up using it, don't worry, you'll get it back super quick because of the fragments. Healing Grenade, in harder content when you can't chain kills as often, this is super useful to have in the back pocket, but you can run Fusion Grenade instead for constant grenade spam. Our aspects are Soul Invictus, which provides sunspots, which lets you have even more benefits to ability regeneration and restoration, and then you have a choice. I run Consecration because it's actually quite a powerful ability in both PvE and PvP. In PvE, you're going to be scorching enemies with this build, and Consecration is a great way to force an ignite. In PvP nowadays, because of the new meta where people bunch up with much more hand-holding and team-shotting, it's not a bad option to have to cause massive damage to multiple people. You could easily use Roaring Flames instead, and if you're using something like a Fusion Grenade, this may be the better option, but I didn't find Roaring Flames to have any utility at all in PvP. For my fragments, I run Ember of Searing, which helps create fire sprites, which gives us grenade energy and restoration thanks to Ember of Mercy. Both of these fragments give us recovery and resilience, which are two of the most important stats for the build. We're also running Ember of Benevolence for that crazy ability regeneration, and Ember of Empyrean for that infinite resto and radiant timer. In terms of stats, this is one of those few builds you can have the exact same armor set going into any activity for both PvE and PvP, because you want to prioritize the same stats for both. You want 10 resilience as your highest priority. The 30% damage reduction it provides in PvE is an absolute must, and then it provides more health, which is very important in PvP, as that can shift the TTK and make it harder for opponents to kill you. And it reduces your barricade cooldown as well. 10 recovery is the second priority for your stats. This will reduce the time spent in between engagements and make sure you stay alive for longer. Discipline comes in third, but don't worry about your other stats. In PvE, especially with Ember of Benevolence, you will get your grenades and melee back so fast, it's crazy. The only thing you have to change really between activities are your mods. But honestly, because the build excels so much, even this isn't a necessity. In PvP, you're going to focus more on targeting, dexterity, and unflinching mods for Solar to help the summoner as much as possible. On your class item, you want to run Reaper so you generate orbs of light when you kill someone after using your barricade, and Double Bomber for reduced grenade cooldown. And then on your boots, run Absolution and Double Innovation to reduce that grenade cooldown even more. In PvE, the only thing you'll want to change really is to make sure you put the relevant resistance mods on your chest piece so you stay alive for longer, and make sure you have Solar Siphon on your helmet. Honestly, the rest can stay the same. You don't even need to put any mods on your gloves. You can keep them as dexterity and you'll still be fine in any activity. The dim link I'll provide will be the PvP version, but honestly, you only need to change those 2-3 things that I mentioned and you'll be fine for PvE as well. So there you have it, my insane Precious Scars summoner build. The great thing about this is that you do not need an adept version as a requirement, so just play a little bit of trials to unlock the weapon, and then you can focus it at a saint until you get a heal clip kill clip roll. If you enjoyed what I talked about today, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more builds, both PvE and PvP. I'm Mr. Ronit, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.